I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh man, I'm celebrating the end of summer. Can you tell? Because there
Uh,
won't be very many more days, I hope, to
well,
wear these little shirts.
it's a little cooler where I'm at today. I have the privilege of coming to you live from we're on other sides of the continent at this point in time. I'm over in Toronto at the Council of Multiple Listing Services this week. For
Love
those
that.
who are
Yeah.
not familiar, the Council of Multiple Listing Services is exactly what it is.
Yep.
Uh, it's a place where multiple listing services come together and discuss policy, events, and the future of multiple listing service as it stands today. So a lot going on in the industry. It's good to serve and to be at these meetings. Gives you a lot of great insight to be able to lead a company, see the future, and help agents as we navigate the roads ahead, of course.
Well, the last time I was at that conference, it was being held here in Tucson. So that was a number of years ago. It was certainly interesting. But listen, today I kind of, and maybe you're in a good place to talk about this. I'm kind of fascinated and interested to talk about this merger, that's happening right now. Apparently Compass is buying in the process of buying Anywhere Real Estate. So that's kind of big. And maybe some of the viewers will remember that in March of last year there were a lot of rumors about Compass buying home services. And at the time, I was saying, I don't know, it doesn't seem likely because Buffett could just write a check for that. And the cultures are so bloody different that I thought, that might have been a big problem. And of course, it didn't happen. But interestingly enough, there were some leadership changes afterwards. So who knows? Maybe there were conversations. I don't know.
I'm sure there were, and I know you spoke of it a
Yeah.
little bit to your chagrin. But
Well, things happen.
but I had a great conversation about this this morning
Yep.
with somebody that I have complete respect for, and that's one of the great things about attending conferences like this. You get such an amazing amount of knowledge, viewpoints from people who've been in the industry. This person, David Sharon, Charron, has
Okay.
been MLS executive for decades, very well regarded in the industry. And when we started speaking about it, it's like, it doesn't make sense to me. He said, well, what it reminds me of is, do you remember when AOL bought Time Warner basically in a stock deal of about 150 plus $billion? How did that work out?
Not so well, and when I think about this, I mean, there's some big hurdles here from my perspective. I mean, one of the hurdles is that the whole business model of Compass is way different than all of the brands that are in a part of Anywhere. And so I think about Coldwell Banker. I mean, they're pretty solid in terms of their whole idea of who they are, And if I think about Sotheby's, I'm thinking about Sotheby's, being brand specific. I mean, they really talk a lot about, where that comes from. And their systems are not quite the same. And as I recall, when Compass, purchased some companies in the West Coast, there was really a revamping of the way things were done, moving on to, kind of that economy of scale. Let's do the same kind of thing. Let's use the same tech platform, and all of the brands at Anywhere, I think, are using all the Realogy stuff from, I
A lot
think,
of it, yeah.
a lot of it.
So
Yeah.
the brands that we're talking about, for those of you who don't understand, so Compass on a 1.5 to 1.6 billion-dollar deal, all stock, no
Mhm.
real money changing hands. This isn't all a stock thing, which is interesting. Compass has been around since 2012,
Right.
have about 33, 35,000-ish agents nationwide, whereas Anywhere Brands is Sotheby's, Coldwell Banker, Century 21, ERA, Corcoran. All of those together is an agent base nationwide of over 300,000 real estate agents. So we're talking
Right.
about potentially almost a 350,000 agents type of culture, if you will, going under one corporate umbrella. And like you said, are they a cultural fit? Not on the surface, not from what we've heard. And the
No.
only reason we can say that is because the leaderships of a lot of these organizations have been at odds with each other for a very long time and publicly making statements against different policies and clear cooperation and how they see things and how they don't see things. And it's not exactly going to be a marriage made in heaven.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I'm going to speak to the opposite side because what we have heard is that we're not going to touch the way things are done, that we're just, we're just going to put everybody under the umbrella. But
Okay.
I don't really see how that works because if you got an economy of scale, you got to make things the same. And that means the systems have to change, which would mean many of the agents are going to have to they're going to have some learning curves. And we both know how much people like new things.
It's also a monumental shift in
Mhm.
thinking and understanding of the leadership of Compass.
Yeah.
So follow me on this, but they don't have a lot of affiliate-based people. They're all under the umbrella, if you will, majority.
Yeah.
They've spent a lot of money. They've had maybe one or two profitable months in their almost 13 years of existence at this point in time. They have about a $500 million in debt. Now, Anywhere Brands is coming over with about 2.4 in bad debt and a whole lot more than that overall. But the cultural shift in understanding an affiliate-based business, which a lot of those are, these are franchises, whether
Yeah.
it's 321, whether it's Corcoran, and whether it's Sotheby's, a lot of these are owned by different people all over the place. So, but and that's another cultural difference that maybe they're not foreseeing
Yeah.
because this is housing. This isn't just technology. This is housing, a lot more regulation, a lot more things going on from fair housing, antitrust. Maybe some people have talked about antitrust in the last couple of years. If you're not, you've got a problem because just remember, if you have all these people that are different brokers in some markets, competitive brokers in brokerages being owned and or brokered by different people, you
Mm.
can't even share inventory in certain ways, or it could potentially be a violation of current rules in certain markets. And if you're talking about anything with regard to compensation, with business practices in certain ways, it could be an antitrust issue, even under the corporate umbrella, because you have individual companies in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I came out of that umbrella because, at one point I was an affiliate. I
yeah, I
owned,
was going to say you certainly know all about being an
oh,
affiliate
yeah.
franchisee. Yeah.
I mean, when they would speak of, if you will, a pocket or a private listing, I excused myself from the room when it was the corporate entity because it was so different and it would actually be a violation of our current rules that we have currently in Arizona and under NAR, under MLS rules in many places. So there's a lot to unwrap here and get their arms around. What I do think it makes them into the future the number one target with regard to any litigation or issues because they will have 350,000-ish agents, a whole lot of revenue, even if not profitable, and they'll be the number one place people want to go after.
Yikes. I mean, when you start talking about all the debt service, that's just what exists. And honestly, some money will have.
Well, we lost John for a second, but I'm sure he's going to dial right back in. Um, but I agree with him completely. I mean, this is going to be a very interesting change for practitioners, for consumers more than anything. I think it's going to be a little bit of confusion in the marketplace as to if you're working with a particular brokerage, are you working under the Compass umbrella? Are you still working with just a Coldwell Banker agent? You know, those are some of the questions here. So I'll just just telling them to log back in here. But yeah, so here in Toronto, we're having a fantastic time, getting quite a bit of wonderful information. We've had some great presentations already. I would say one of the standouts and somebody that I would highly recommend paying attention to is Mr. Eels, the CEO of Move.com or Realtor.com. He made a fantastic presentation today. He comes out of Australia, where he built a lot of things there and understands the marketplace there and wishes that it had a little bit more structure like we have here. So he has an unbelievable amount of expertise and experience with what we do. And to be able to come from another part of the world and be able to say, hey, you guys really don't know how good you've got it is very refreshing to hear. And he challenges a lot of the mindset of the people out there talking about private listings and how it's not great for the consumer and things that could be better in Australia, which is where he came from, and how good it is here. And then hopefully, you know, things continue to be fantastic here as well. So of course, this is Armed and Thirsty. So you know, clearly I'm drinking Canada's finest here in Toronto. It's been a pleasure to be able to serve on the local Arizona Regional Multiple Listing Service Board of Directors. This is my second tour of duty. And like I said earlier, it allows me the opportunity to not only give back, but also learn about our industry, be able to advocate and stay knowledgeable about the issues that affect the people who practice real estate within our brokerage, and even more, how they can impact consumers and guide consumers appropriately to make sure that our buyers and sellers that we have the privilege of representing get the best service available to them. So it doesn't look like John's going to be able to get back here. So I'm just going to go ahead and sign off, and feel free to like and subscribe. All of you have a fantastic week, and we'll see you here soon.